our country is spending some time remembering the tragedy that happened 10 years ago. And just when we say the words 9/11, just everything comes to mind now, right? It's just a time that was terrible when terrorists attacked the World Trade Centers in New York. And I can still remember watching the TV. I turned it on that morning, and it came on, the scene of the two towers and it burning, and I couldn't help but think, this has got to be some kind of a TV station practical joke, because this just can't be real, right? It just can't be real. It just cannot be happening. And I was just stunned, and so were many, many people. And immediately following the attack, many Americans and people all over the world expressed outrage and anger at what had happened. And just kind of a natural response. And there were expressions also of fear and hatred toward people who looked even a little bit Middle Eastern. Do you guys remember that? Right? There was like a huge panic at the airports and any transportation station, and people were even in their communities trying to figure out, should I be afraid of this person or not? It was terrible. And looking at some of these pictures brings back a lot of those emotions for me. And I can't believe it's already been 10 years since that attack. And along that line, I think it's appropriate today. I don't know, it just happened that the passage that's meant for today kind of talks about forgiveness. Talks about how we are called to forgive. As Christians, we are called to forgive not only in certain areas of our life, but in every circle of our life. And I will bet that many of us sitting here today, it's easy for us to pick out certain circles in our life where we can practice forgiveness. Right? In this circle of these people, no problem. In this other circle with these people, no problem. But I will guess that there are certain circles in your life where forgiveness is very difficult. Where even if you think of certain people, forgiveness will not come to your mind. But I believe that it's through our forgiving that we show who Jesus is, not only in our life, but who Jesus is in our world. And it's through forgiving that not only is the other person healed, but more so, this is what I've experienced, that there is even greater healing in my personal life. And I share this all the time, that of my personal spiritual journey, where God calling me to be a pastor is not so much for you, but I really believe it was more so for me. That having me become a pastor, God knew that, Fred, if you do something else, you're not going to be as faithful. You're not going to be able to do even the littlest things, which I'm calling all of my followers to do. But only in making me a pastor, I believe that God has set me on a path that makes me somewhat more faithful. And it's been a great experience in my life. And the passage that I want to share with you today talks about forgiving. It comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 18. And in the larger context of what Jesus is saying to the disciples, we're going to hear about Peter. I love Peter. He is such an interesting guy. Always wrong place, wrong time, wrong thing to say. I love him. So let's see what happens here. Then Peter came and said to him, Jesus, Lord, if any member of the church sins against me, how often should I forgive? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, not 7 times, but I tell you, 77 times. And that's the passage. And in this section of Matthew, as I said, in the larger context where Jesus is teaching about how we should respond when people wrong us, in the previous section right before the passage that we read, Jesus explains the process of what should be done when somebody wrongs us. He wants to lay it out, make it clear. And the process is not just about getting justice for ourselves when somebody wrongs us, but about our genuine concern for the other person. to help them remove the wrong from their life so that they can be, come into relationship with God again and come into relationship with the community again. And as I share some of these things, I'm sure it'll be familiar to you. Jesus tells the people, he says, first of all, when somebody wrongs you, make sure you go to them personally, point it out to them when you two are alone. And if they listen, great. Right? But if they don't, he goes on and says, try it again with one or two other people. If they listen, great. If they don't, go tell the church leaders and have them try to approach that person and bring healing into their life. And if that doesn't work, try 3 times. Then this is the part that kind of shocks people. Jesus said, forget about it. You go, ooh, that seems kind of cold. Forget about it? What do you mean? But Jesus says, forget about it. And I think the reason that Jesus says, forget about it is because in the next few verses, Jesus says, forget about it, and you got to pray. And Jesus saying, you've done all that you can, and as long as you've done all that you can, you've got to leave it up to God. Right? All we are called to do is do our best, and then what we've got to do is leave it up to God. Pray and leave it up to God. And hearing this, Peter speaks up. And as I said, Peter is one of those people who is always trying to impress other people, right? Especially Jesus, I think. And he's always falling on his face. Oh, there goes Peter again. And Peter, being a good Jewish young man, understands the rabbinic teaching, the teachings of the rabbi. And what is taught is that people should forgive another person 3 times. Right? And he understands this. And with that understanding, and now him walking with Jesus, he's got some more greater insight to Jesus' teaching. So he says, okay, rabbis say 3 times. Jesus says a little more. So he comes on and says, Jesus, how about 7 times? Right? And he's expecting Jesus to say, Peter, you are on it. You're the man. You're listening to what I'm saying. But instead, Jesus says once again, Peter, not 7 times, but 77 times. Ouch. He says 77 times. To which Peter, I'm sure he goes, oh, did I not catch something? 77 times. I can count 1, 2, 3 times. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. But 77 times or 70 times 7? How do I count that? I don't know about you guys, but as I said, being a pastor, more than helping you, it helps me. And I have a hard time forgiving. I just do, especially when it comes to people who are close to me, like my wife. We've been married 24 years. I knew her 4 years before that. That's a lot of years. But it went fast. I don't want you to go to your wife and say, you've been married a long time. But the time went fast. Right? But in that time, as close as she is to me, when she wrongs me, I will hold on to that wrong. I will hold it. I will hold it. I won't. I'm one of those people. I won't just kind of calmly take care of it right away. I will hold it. I will hold it until the next time she does it again, and I will hold it until it hurts her. That's the type of personality I am. Or and when she does something wrong to me, it all comes out. It explodes. I go, this is just like the last time. And she won't even know what I'm talking about. What last time? That last time. And I will start talking about that last time. Right? Just this past holiday, we were going up to Deception Pass to go fishing. And on our way up, we were going to just to grab some food. And driving and trying to be a good husband and dad and say, hey, what do you guys want to eat? And my wife yells out, taco time. And I'm thinking, taco time, oh my gosh, I hate taco time. We have been married 24 years. You have never ever seen me eat at taco time, and you are yelling out taco time. Right? And I'm thinking that, but I'm not saying anything. I said, okay. And just as she says taco time, we're passing a sign on I-5, and it says, upcoming next exit, taco time. Pull it. And you know, and we were going in to eat, and she's like, aren't you gonna eat? And I'm like, and I don't say anything, right? I'm holding it in. Oh no, you guys go ahead, I'm not that hungry. I am starving. I'm not that hungry. And I'm thinking to myself, we have been married how many years? 24 years, and she does not know that I will not eat at taco time ever since I got really sick. Right? I will not eat it. And the next time she'll just say something and it all just explodes. It explodes. I can't believe you don't even know me! And a whole other topic, she doesn't even know what I'm talking about. What are you talking about? I'm talking about taco time! Right? Until it hurts her. I think Jesus understands me, and Jesus understood something similar about Peter. So he tells this story. And he says, Peter, let me tell you something. He says, this is how it is with the kingdom of heaven. It may be compared to a king who wished to settle account with his slaves. When he began the reckoning, the one who owed him 10,000 talents was brought to him. And just to recap, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, but a talent is an amount of money. It's a lot of money. 1 talent was equivalent to, at that time, 15 years daily wages. So that's a lot of money. And 10,000 of that. 15 years wages times 10,000. I don't know, I can't calculate it. Basically, it's a lot of money.